Hi, I'm Dianemarie Collins, and you have entered the DM Zone. We are here in Bremen, Georgia, and we are at Milltown Music Hall. And most importantly, I am visiting here with Randall Redding, and you have a long list of CEOs, but welcome first.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being here today. We're excited.
I'm excited too. You are the CEO of the Milltown Music Hall. You also started, though, with R.K. Redding Construction, so you're the CEO of that. And then one more thing that you're a CEO, which is Liberty
Legends USA. It's a clothing line made in America.
And that's what I love best about it, is that it is, you said, born and worn.
That's right, born and worn in the USA.
I just love all the little taglines that you have, and you've got one here for the music hall.
Yeah, where the stars shine bright on a Georgia night.
Oh, that is so sweet. It really is.
I didn't come up with that, but I love that. Yeah, it's great.
Well, that's okay. I understand that you really just built this because with the Milltown and it was suffering, you wanted to bring the vibrancy and the pride back to West Georgia.
Yeah, I grew up in this town, and I remember it being a mill town when over 3,000 people worked in Bremen because it was the clothing center of the South. And so my mom and dad had a restaurant in town where a lot of the workers and a lot of the industrial leaders ate with us every day. But when we started thinking about this venue and what to name it, then we thought through a lot of names. But I thought, well, we need to remind people that don't remember that it was a mill town. Maybe we call it the Mill, Milltown Music Hall. So we decided to do that, and I think the first night I said, we may not be making clothes, but we're going to be making music, So and then we started making clothes a little bit later on, but it's worked out very well.
And you've got with your clothing, we'll just divert a little bit, the Legends. Liberty Legends clothing. You've got country people focus on that, the Gatlin brothers.
That's right. We have Larry Gatlin, the Gatlin brothers, and the Oak Ridge Boys, and then we have people like Ambassador Andrew Young they've endorsed the program, and we have others, in military folks that have endorsed the program as well. So we've had a lot of folks that rallied around us that have drawn attention to the clothing line that we couldn't have drawn ourselves,
And I will tell you also, going back to your beginning with the construction company, the tagline that I heard with that is where you said, making customer service number one.
That's right. Yeah, the customers are number one at RK Redding, and it's the same whether you're building buildings or you have a music hall. It's about taking care of clients and exceeding their expectations. That's what we strive to do.
Well, you've been pretty successful. Let's see, with the construction company, I understand that you're licensed in 6 different states, and it's kind of a vibrant company.
Yeah, it's doing very well. We've been blessed. We thank the Lord for that, and that's all I've ever wanted to do is build buildings, and from as early as I can remember, and my grandmother gave me that dream, and so I'm doing what I love to do. And music is another thing that has been a passion of mine. I remember when I was 5 or 6 years old, my sister was a piano player. She was taking lessons, and she would practice, and then I would go in and play the song that she just practiced by ear. God gave me that ability. But
my husband is like that, and it just amazes me because I've taken more piano lessons than I can count, and I'm still working on it.
I remember going back and working on some songs, writing some songs with them. They were terrible, but at least I had that I wanted to do that. I was drawn to do that, and of course
I understand you're a singer too.
Yeah, I can sing a little bit. Most all the Reddings can sing. Okay. Yeah, we've had a lot of singers in our family.
Well, I sing too, so see, we got construction because my daddy was a contractor, and singing, I'm still singing, so fun.
Great, yeah, that's awesome. I was in a band from the time I guess it's 14 years old, all through college.
You said the Beatles. We're the same age. We're pretty close anyway.
Yeah, I remember the Beatles, and of course I grew up loving Otis Redding. I loved that music that he did, and I had one of his albums. I think it was a knockoff album, but I had it anyway. That's the only, you could buy it for $1 or something like that, and I had it. Yeah, it was great.
Well, let's talk a little bit about how the music hall here has gotten so much attention. It's 1,000 seat venue.
About 1,100, 1,050 or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now, did you have a plan?
Well, what we did, my wife and I own a properties company called Tyndall Properties, LLC, and we buy real estate, and we also develop real estate. And this shopping center was one of those that Walmart moved out of, and so usually a shopping center that they move out of dries up and just sits there. You know, in most every town that you go through where Walmart came in and then they built their superstore, most of the other stores are just sitting empty. But we knew that from being in this area, we knew that the traffic pattern was still good here, and so my wife and I decided to buy this center and re-tenant it, the Walmart store. And this, where we are right now at Milltown, was the Ingle's grocery store. And I knew Ingle's was trying to move out and build a superstore because we'd had a piece of property we tried to sell them. We had them under contract at one time.
You had all the inside information.
Yeah, so we knew, and they had been all over town putting property under contract after they let ours go. And finally they landed on a piece that I thought was the worst property in town. So when I bought this center, I called the properties manager for Ingle's, and I said, you know, we bought that shopping center. He said, yeah, why did you do that? I saw that come through. And I said, well, we just felt like it was the right thing to do. And he said, well, you know, we're going to move out. And I said, yeah, but the main reason I called you is because I wanted to congratulate you. You finally found the worst piece of property in town to build your store on. He said, I know, we're crazy. He said,
well, at least he admitted it.
yeah, he said, you know, Mr. Ingle likes that site, but I said, well, you know, our site's better. Anyway, long story, we sold them the site and they built the big store on our property, and it's, of course, it was 85,000 square feet. It's a nice grocery store. I wanted a nice grocery store for this area.
That's I was going to say, that's your theme. From everything that I've read about you, you are so supportive of where you came from, and you want to make sure that this town and your neighbors have a good place to live.
Yeah, I do have a very soft spot in my heart for this area, and I always have and always will. This has been a good area for me as home, you know. Yeah. So we built that. We didn't build the store, but we sold the property, and we successfully moved Ingle's out of our own shopping center. So we created.
And so you had this beautiful space. Yeah, and then you said, I want to do something with music.
Yeah, well, not in the beginning. We cleaned the place out. Of course, it had been a grocery store for 30 years, and all the cooler freezers. We washed everything out the back door. And it was just a vacant building at that time with no power and just water standing on the floor.
Well, where'd the music come from?
Well, I came in there one day and I got praying about it, about what to do, because someone approached me. We thought it could be a bowling alley, and that didn't work out, and a movie theater. They couldn't get their financing, and I didn't want to do the tenant build out of my pocket. So that didn't work out. So we started praying about this, and one Saturday in particular, I knew that I felt in my spirit that's what we should do. And I called my wife, and I was sitting on a 5-gallon bucket in here in this floor.
I've sat on enough of those in my lifetime.
So she said, she said, well, you know, if you think so, I don't think she really got the dream, you know, at that moment. But I was praying, I said, you know, we really, Lord, bless us with people that understand and get the dream and get the vision for this. And I said, and by the way, I think a church should be in here too, because we're only going to use it a few days a month, you know. And
so this is a dual purpose then?
Yeah. The church meets in here on Sundays and Wednesdays, and there'll be a church service in here at 11 o'clock in the morning, even though we have Tanya Tucker tonight. So. So it's exciting. So we started into it, and we hired we were approached by Amy Parrish and her group that were in the media, marketing, and one of my friends that works for me quizzed me a little bit about marketing. I said, I don't know what we're going to do. And he said, well, let me call Amy. So she came in, and I think she said something like, do you have a business plan? I said, no. And she said, do you have a labor force or whatever? I said, no, I don't have anything.
I have a signal from the Lord.
That's what I had, and a prayer asking him to surround me with people that understood this and would get it. And so she came on and helped us.
And this is in 2012.
2012.
Is when this opened, January 28th, 2012.
It was actually about the middle of 2011 when we first met with the marketing folks, and I said, and by the way, we're going to open the first in January of 2012. And so we didn't have any talent lined up.
Nothing lined up. Yeah, it takes a while.
No, we didn't have talent lined up. We didn't have anything. So anyway, we started. We didn't have anybody in that could run
manage the place or anything.
Well, the music, as far as the audio, video, all that, we didn't have.
This really is a labor of love, and at the same time, you've just let it guide you and take you where you needed to go.
Yeah, and so we started, and we began to book talent. We didn't realize we'd have to pay them all up front before they'd even sign a contract.
Oh, I'll tell you one better. When we used to do concerts, I said, why do I have to go get cash? And that's just one of the they want cash.
They want a cashier's check. But thankfully, people began to believe in us, and I think the Oak Ridge Boys were the first group that came here that was big, that didn't have to have all their money up front. And so we could actually sell tickets and then pay them. But they came in, and they've been here every year that we've been open. They've been a sellout every year.
I can imagine, and the level. And I've interviewed a lot of the people that you've had here, and I'm looking forward to tonight's concert with Tanya Tucker.
Yeah, she's going to be great. She's been here. I think this is her third time.
Well, she was just on the CMA too.
I know, wasn't that great? We had a lot of our ladies on the CMAs that night, and our guys too. Billy Ray Cyrus is there, and he'd been here. So we had a lot of folks that showed up on that show.
Well, then see, this is with Milltown Music Hall. It's magic. That's all I can tell you. Now, I know that your wife did the decorating. It's called Shabby Chic.
Yeah, I think so. And it's also called just industrial. We wanted an industrial feel, not something real slick. Okay. And so we used a lot of this barn wood behind us and a lot of metal that we had left off of projects and stuff that we didn't use. And so we began to do that, and it came together, and she's great at what she does.
Well, it's a wonderful facility, and I'm really looking forward to the concert, and I really appreciate you spending time with me more than anything, Randall. It was just wonderful. I look forward to meeting all the people that you bring through here, and many years of sitting down and having a conversation and finding out what's latest and greatest with Randall Redding. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to come in tonight.
You bet. And you have been in the DM Zone. Come back soon.